Would you survive these football rivalries? Hello and welcome back to the home of the Blue Dragon YouTube channel. Here you'll find regular content based around the Premier League and Championship with the latest updates and live news on my analysis of all that's going on today. I will be covering all the biggest and scariest rivalries in the United Kingdom. I will be ranking them from 5 to 1, but of course all of these derbies are very good to make my list. To make the list, it has to be a fierce rivalry and also pretty dangerous amongst the fans. Many of these games were the center of hooliganism in the 1990s and 1980s, so I hope you enjoy them. Let's get into it. Make sure to subscribe if you like the video to join my army, and also remember to stick around right to the very end to see the deadliest on my list, which is a very good one. Also, put in the comments how I can improve my video quality. In at 5th position on my list I have got one of the biggest rivalries in the north, which is of course the Sunderland versus Newcastle derby. They played 175 times in their history, Newcastle edging out Sunderland, winning 54, and Sunderland winning 53. They've also drawn 50 of those games. One of the main reasons why this game is so good is because of the fan base is love for both sides, and how much they love their football clubs in the north of England. Towards Scotland, out of 10 I would give this derby a 7. It's definitely a pretty dangerous one, but it's also got mutual respect to each other. They both got massive stadiums, with Newcastle's in the 50,000 and Sunderland in the almost 50,000, so this is definitely a good one to kick us off. I don't think it has as much history or being such a hooligan game as the rest, but still a decent fixture and definitely the biggest in the northeast. So for now, Sunderland versus Newcastle is 5th position as the 5th scariest rivalry in the United Kingdom. Now in 4th on my list is my local derby, which is of course the South Wales derby, the most feared derby in Wales. Cardiff and Swansea have been evenly matched for the last 10 years or so, which makes this derby very competitive in the first ever Premier League fixture between these two sides. Cardiff beat Swansea 1-0 thanks to a goal by Craig Bellamy. The first meeting of the two sides took place in 1912, with Swansea's first competitive match, which ended in a draw. It started off as quite a friendly rivalry, but over the 1960s it turned something ugly. Unlike, it became the picture of hooliganism in Wales, especially with Cardiff City Football Club, as it was one of the most feared hooliganism firms of the time. Cardiff have just won more games than their rivals, but recently Swansea have been getting better, with the Bluebirds last time out beat Swansea 2-0 at home, and then Swansea beat Cardiff 2-0 at home, so it's very evenly matched. The two sides went something like 100 years without doing the double over each other, but then Swansea did it twice in a row in the last couple of seasons. Overall, this derby is one of the best, not just Wales, but also the United Kingdom. If you watch it on television, the atmosphere there is always buzzing, and Cardiff and Swansea both hate each other very much, so for me the 4th scariest rivalry in the United Kingdom is Cardiff versus Swansea. Now breaking to the top 3 as one of the biggest rivalries in the United Kingdom and of course in the world is Manchester United versus Liverpool Football Club. This rivalry extends from the two northern towns. This rivalry is viewed across the world in all 4 corners, from South America to Asia and in North America, and of course in Europe. Everybody knows these two football clubs. The biggest scoring game between these two sides was 740. Liverpool, on the biggest win of any side, ended 7-0 to Liverpool, but overall Liverpool of 171 games they've been 60 draws, and Manchester United have won 83 games, making it a very even fixture throughout the years. The two working-class towns love evolved onto the footballing scene together. Liverpool run dry in the 1980s, for Manchester United had their time in the 1990s. Overall, the rivalry has stayed firm forever. Of course, with Manchester United you could have gone Manchester City, but I just think Liverpool is a bigger rival for them over the course of history and stuff, so for me 3rd biggest rivalry in the United Kingdom has to be Liverpool. This is Manchester United. Next up, the second scariest rivalry in the United Kingdom is Millwall versus West Ham. The East London rivalry in the 1980s was feared by police across the country as these two clubs were at the centre of many hooliganism attacks in all competitive fixtures. They played each other 99 times. Millwall have won 138 of these games. West Ham won 34, and 27 have ended in a draw before the First World War. They played 60 times in about 20 years, which is an insane amount of games. For me, it's up there with the most dangerous games in football. You see the brutality from both fans. They do not care. It's a proper hatred of a rivalry. They don't sit too far from each other either geographically wise, but footballing wise. At the moment, West Ham are in the Premier League and Millwall aren't doing too well in the Championship. But I have no doubt that one day when we do see these two sides face again, there won't be much love loss. Out of 10, I would rate this game an 8 on the danger scale. I just also know that the fans of these two teams tend to come together when supporting England away. But in the 1990s and 1980s, it was an absolute nightmare for foreign police. All in all, nowadays, hooliganism is cooled down at this end of London, but it's got to be up there with those historic and dangerous rivalries in the United Kingdom. So for me, the second scariest must be Millwall versus West Ham. Now, finally, my first position is moving away from England. I'm sure you can guess who it is. Celtic versus Rangers. Celtic and Rangers have played each other 441 times in major competitions. Both clubs have won 169 matches each and drawn 103. Over the course of history, these teams have been so evenly matched at the top of the Scottish Championship. I cannot remember the last time a Celtic or a Rangers side didn't win the Scottish Premier League, but this rivalry isn't just on the pitch, it's mainly off it, as the two sides have political differences of which they are not afraid to express. This can lead to many fights among fans, obviously with the Celtics being Catholics and the Rangers being Protestants, so this leads to a massive rivalry amongst the two sets of fans. Over the course of history and in many fights between them, these two sides have got two enormous fan bases that stretch not just throughout Scotland, not just throughout the United Kingdom, but the whole of the world. Out of 10, I would rate this to be a 9.9. The only thing that probably takes away from it and makes up that 0.1% is that they play each other so often, but they're evenly matched. It's a great fixture whenever it's on. I try and watch it on TV, so for me, the scariest rivalry in the United Kingdom must be Celtic versus Rangers. Right, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy that, leave a like, but mainly, go and check out another video on the channel. The one that I would recommend most is the one I did about Championship Kids, where I discuss the top 5 best and the top 5 worst Championship kits for the 2425 season. If you want to see more football videos like this, obviously subscribe to join my army. Let me know in the comments how I can improve the videos. Thank you for watching, and come on the boys.